Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Well, once again, thank you, Sean, for that intro. I have been meaning to get Sean back on because he's not gallivanting the earth. Yep, he is still married, so miracles do happen. And what do we have on the show? Our first show of 2026. I'm not going to say these are repeat customers, but you guys both have heard these guys, and I've had a lot of comments that they loved having you guys on singularly or pluralistically, because I think Ryan's been on with Heilman.
Yeah, I believe so.
Not by himself. Yeah. So we have Ryan Heilman and my favorite drummer that's still alive.
As of this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I keep getting like your friend Wes is going to an exciting event, and it's never something gaming, it's always drumming, and I'm like, I really have to hear you play.
Yeah, we'll get together.
I got to hear you play. Yeah. So that's it.
I have to hear him play. What are you talking about? I still haven't had a chance to hear him play.
Is there any way we could go combine a drumming event with gaming?
You know what? I tried it. Ryan sings. Denver with Flying Pig plays guitar. Grant with Worthington plays guitar. I keep saying to them,
you need a bassist.
Maybe two informally, one of these conventions, PresCon or WBC, we just got to, play 3 or 4 songs somewhere. And it would be a hoot. And a show of solidarity and all this kind of stuff, It would be fun.
And I'm a bassist, so
oh no, I didn't know that. So now we had
a whole talk. We had a whole talk about my lack of musical career, but playing multiple instruments. Yeah.
Okay, you have a bass.
I've heard Denver play. No, I don't have an electric bass anymore. So
that
I
could be
one.
record.
Yeah, it's really not a big thing too. So I still remember the first time I picked one up in 10th grade from playing the, double bass, classic bass. And it's like, wow, these frets are really just an easy button. And then the thing sounded differently. So, and to this day, we had this talk, Wes, I can only read bass clef music.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
and then we're all set up.
Yeah, we're all set up. So
we just have to get you down to one of these conventions, and then we'll get the band going.
Yeah, we do. And I've heard Denver play because she posts it, and she's very talented and with a child now.
No, not with child, but with a child.
With a child.
She doesn't pop on my
screen. The child is living with him now.
Oh, no kidding. So it went from pregnant to having a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention in health class, so I'm a little lost, but that's great news.
Those things happen.
She rarely pops up on my feed, but it's usually because of something gaming. So once again, we're here to talk about stuff people out there care about, not this stuff, which is interesting because I've hung out with you guys personally, and like I keep getting from Kevin and how come you don't have us on? I go, because we've hung out so much. There's too many inside jokes that nobody gets. So, we'll keep. I guess it's almost a disincentive to hang out. Hey, so we got a question from the last time we talked about Wharf Rat, and I'm going to shoot it. So it came from Jay from Moline, Illinois, and he said, "Can you please ask these guys nicely, in this economy with, the crazy things that happen in the game thing, why the fuck would they open up a game company And I'm going to throw that out there. You don't have to answer it,
No,
but
I'll answer it.
I think I said
Yeah.
it nicely.
You
No,
start
you
that
said
way.
it nicely.
That was
Well,
nice.
no, you did. I will say when we decided to actually go into this thing, it was slightly before things got crazy. So we hadn't quite got the full effect. All the various tariffs and whatnot had not been announced. We hadn't gone into various trade wars yet, et cetera, et cetera. So we thought maybe some of it was coming down the pipeline, but we weren't sure exactly what. So to be fair, when Wes and I finally solidified things and said, "Hey, we're going to do this," and this was like what, Wes, like last late summer
That would
of
be
last year.
August of 24.
Right.
Yeah, and things hadn't quite developed. So still, I think it's a valid question, even without adding in all that additional stuff that happened over the past year.
Yeah.
It is a good question. Why do this in the first place? Is it a money making thing? Is it a vanity thing? Is it something that just we've always wanted to do? That sort of thing. And I think that for us, we had been um, designing and developing games, and we just wanted to take that next step and go into a situation where we could be the ones actually producing and the product and selling the product. Would we like to make some money off of it? Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, everyone wants to make a little bit of money off their business ventures, and that would be wonderful to do. I
I can
will
only make
admit that.
money at work via embezzlement. So I just
Oh well,
wanted
don't
to,
do that. I don't do
yeah.
that. I mean, I don't think very few people go into designing games thinking I'm going to make a ton of money. I mean, there's very few people out there that.
Oh, I can tell you, I do speak to people, and it is the money first. And I'm like, let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah,
But
there's
you,
very few people out there that make that work and can go, you know what? I'm going to give up my job because I'm not making all this money from designing games, and I can only think of one person in the area, and her name is Elizabeth Hargrave, and she did Wingspan. And she was lucky to sell millions of copies of that and be able to quit her job and do that.
when
But
you look at the difference between her and another
mhm,
local guy who probably has one of the, it's on its what, 12th printing, Jason, that
mhm,
historical games and games that appeal to like a game like Wingspan, um, two different communities, both
yeah,
gamers, yes, but looking for different things. It is in historical gaming, it is that hard to make that much cash
yep, yep.
unless
It's
Yeah,
there. Yep.
but that's
unless you do
okay. I
like
mean,
a go ahead. Sorry.
well, just saying, I mean, we got into this because we love these kinds of games, games of conflict. Wharf Rat's mission is we're looking for games, we're going to produce games, publish games, games of conflict in either the, war games, science fiction, fantasy, that sort of thing. So, I mean, and we love these kinds of games. And so we decided to go ahead and do it because really, in a sense, we're setting ourselves up. We're getting just our foot in the water for several years down the road where we really gear up because both of us are still have full-time careers. And so
Yep.
we're doing this, on the side to have fun. It doesn't mean we're not serious about it. We're incredibly serious about it. But it's not a sink or swim situation for us. So, and when we say it's not about the money, in that sense it isn't because we're not depending on this money to live on right now. But if we could get a few games out there over the next few years and hopefully they're nicely received and everything, then if we want to go full time or something, we could feel more confident about doing it. But if that doesn't quite happen the way we want, then we don't have to either, you know.
One
And
one thing I will say is, and I've noticed this from I don't want to say I'm an insider, but working on a lot of games that are trying to get into production for various companies, that what I like about what you guys are doing, and I'm not kissing your ass, it's because I first of all I trust both you guys as far as I can throw you, but a lot of companies are not willing to take risks of what could be that next game because there's that profit there. And
Mhm.
looking at like, hey, we're doing this to put games out that probably wouldn't get published because of the amount of risk by other companies. Does that like kind of ring a bell here, or am I way off base once again?
Well, I think both of our careers are defined by games that are risky. I mean, you know,
Yes.
I designed a game that people thought wasn't designable, wasn't playable. You know,
Which one
in
was
Brave
that?
Little Belgium. Well, Brave Little Belgium, right there. I mean, can
I
you
own it.
design? I know, but can you design a game where you know the opposing force is so strong and the other side is going to lose in the game inherently, and still make it a fun game?
Just
And I said,
how
sure,
bad
we
do you
can. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we did so. And Wes has done very similar in the games that he's designed, in that you know they are topics that are not considered very frequently in gaming. I don't think anyone's ever done a game on Engine Thieves or any of the other games that he's done. I mean, we both
Well,
designed a game of Jean-Luc's Booth, you know,
so I
and
actually have a name for his type of games that Wes puts out, and I
hmm,
said this last
hmm.
time.
Uh-oh.
It's the Law and Order crime series of war games.
Okay.
Because
All right, 'cause the raid on St. Albans is gonna be, one of the next ones with Compass, and that was the Confederate raid where they stole what today would be worth $4 million out of the banks of St. Albans, Vermont.
yeah, so I mean,
And so,
it
yeah, that fits in very well with the law and disorder.
yeah, yeah, and like you know how we talked about like what needs to be gamed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll just throw this out there, and I could delete it if you guys are probably thinking of doing this. I ended up watching on Netflix Death by Lightning, Garfield,
Okay. Yep.
Oh, wasn't that great? That was a
and
great series.
I read the book it was based on right after.
Yep,
Hmm.
my wife did
I
too.
I I
She's
I'll give you the book if you want it. It is that good. And I am sitting there. I actually watched it twice because it was well acted. It was interesting. And they didn't really, being a New Yorker, I know all about, the power politics that went on. So I knew who Conkling was. I knew who Chester A. Arthur was. I thought it was amazing.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a game there where can Gateau sync up and shoot him and then also get radicalized. The other one is that whole medical malpractice thing, which is covered in the book
Yep.
Amazing.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know
if I
that I
had
don't.
If you
I'm not
yeah,
haven't
sure
seen
that
that series, Ryan, you and your wife should see it. It's really good.
it's
well, I
really good.
definitely will watch it.
If there's a
Hesitant on being known as the assassination designers.
Well,
we,
but
we,
yeah.
we
but
are,
there's there
we've already
there.
had we already have two games about assassinations, and one of which was Booth, and then the other one was the very quick little postcard game, Summer in Sarajevo, that we put out as a freebie for
Yeah.
following
I'll
the
tell
game
you
that we
what,
have coming out, Forlorn Hope.
if there is a government shutdown, I'll put pen to
Hmm.
paper. Um and then, if it sells, we have to do McKinley and Leon Kolos,
Jeez.
which is yet another great book. But it is, if you look at the popularity of that series,
Hmm.
people are kind of crazy about it. And I'll give you this: how guys that are listening, we'll get to Forlorn Hope. I promise. Is that I finally watched, and I recommend this. It was on AMC years ago, called Turn, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
And
turn.
it was
Hmm.
about Washington spies.
Right.
And wow, Wellington Games just put one out on Kickstarter. And
Yep.
normally
Okay.
my Rev War gaming is I could take it or leave it. I actually picked that up just because I thought that series was done great.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think there's something there because there are trends. Like the other one too is you guys saw the PBS thing on the Revolutionary War.
We own
I have
it,
not
but
yet.
we got the DVDs, but I haven't seen it yet.
Wow, I'm surprised you have something that still can play a DVD in your household. But
Oh,
Oh
we
yeah.
have many for that to ever go out of style completely
but
for us.
I thought it was a great take on the Revolutionary War that we don't often think about. So once again, it's hey, if I'm interested in it, I can read a book, but I can also game it to try to get some insights that I think is
Mhm.
often overlooked. I'll put it like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because we put out that Summer Sarajevo game as that little freebie,
Yeah.
and I did get a little bit of reaction from people saying that they didn't think it was an appropriate topic.
You
You know,
want an award for that, didn't you?
no, not yet, but
Not yet.
I
Okay.
I I I won the award for the joke game, Lucky Little Luxembourg. That was the postcard game that I won
Oh,
the
that
award
was
for.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is just something that we put out recently as a little freebie. If you go and follow our campaign on Forlorn Hope and BackerKit, you can get this freebie. But yeah, we were called out by one or two people online saying they didn't think the topic was appropriate. And
Really?
think it's interesting. Yeah, and I think it's interesting to hear you talking about wanting to do McKinley and these others, Garfield. Um, where's the line? I mean, I think there was somebody who came to me about wanting to do a game on the Kennedy assassination, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to do that. So I mean, where's that line? Where do you stop? Are you willing to tackle even something like that or not?
I we we could we could totally get into this, and I love
Yeah,
getting hate mail, but is there a line? Because you remember the Congo game a few years ago,
sure, I
and
do.
when I would cover or work on stuff that had the Waffen SS, I got
Hmm.
Paul, who works across the street from me, Marine Corps Historical Office. Well, did you
Hmm.
say in your review that they were bad? And I go, do I need to? I mean, do I need to? But they existed. It happened. I look at Ghost of King Leopold, an amazing book. It would be
Hmm.
interesting to see a game about that subject. Is that crossing the line? But then again, I can eat dinner at a traffic accident.
Hmm.
Um, so do I think it is? It happened in history, and games
Right.
bring history to a tactile and personal level to
Hmm.
everybody. And do I think it's gone too far? I think maybe that's the problem, that we haven't found that line, that we do say stuff because I think they put out last year 2 games on, or one came out this year, or Kickstarter on the Battle of Bulge. I
Hmm.
hate to say this, it's like a softball. It's like hitting an easy button. It it is so like hitting an easy button, like, okay, great, yeah, okay. How many different games do we need on that? I personally don't. I think we already have too many. Some are good, some are most are, but like it always ends predictably. The other one is, have you ever watched anybody play a game on Battle of the Bulge? They do
I have
exactly
watched some people play.
they do exactly
Yeah.
what happened historically
Mhm.
all the time, all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that really, it's. I don't see where
All
the
right.
fun is, but that's me.
Well,
So,
should I tell you what our second game's going to be?
oh please God, no.
Can
I'll
can I
have to
tell
do.
them? Can I tell them so it can sort of cushion it the way it
Yeah,
gets told?
It's
All
on
right.
Battle
yeah,
of the
frame
Bulge.
it.
The second game at this point is the Battle of the Bulge, and the reason, and it's one of my designs, and the reason I chose it is just like you said, it's almost like a joke to do a Battle of the Bulge game, in that it's just there's so many of them. But I came up with a new war game system I call Urgent Commands, and it involves simultaneous play. It does involve a timer, even where you're simultaneously playing and simultaneously activating. And it's so different. I said, I'm going to try this out with Battle of the Bulge. And if it gives a different experience to people, which so far the feedback is it does, then this is a worthy kind of war game system to follow up other games with. So
All right,
that's why I was chosen.
I'll eat my hat on this one.
No. You gotta play it. We gotta play it. I want to play you because you will be vicious. You'll tell me what you think. Zilla Blitz played it, and he said, "Wow, this is really unique and interesting, but it sure does make me feel anxious to play this game." And I said, "Okay." So I did go back, and there's a way you can play the unanxious version of it. But basically, yeah,
What
it's
fun is
given him
that?
the right feeling.
So I worked on it was from Shenandoah. It was a computer game from the Crisis and
Mhm.
Command series. John Butterfield, he did a Battle of the Bulge game. And
Right.
Yeah.
I thought the interesting thing that he wanted to kind of to do with that game is to play out that tension within the
Mhm.
game. And you also don't know if you guys played it, it was like an iPad game mostly. But like you don't know when the game's gonna you don't know when each turn is gonna end. So do I wait, make my move later?
Mhm.
Some games are able to do that. Then I would say, regardless of the topic,
Mhm.
that's it's going to be a good game because it's the experience, not so much the history. But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make me tense, uh, have at it because I'm
Well,
Well, I think.
with a
pretty
war
chill
game,
dude.
I think with a war game, I mean, from the very get-go, we're getting this feeling from having the experience of being a commander or what we imagine being a commander would be. And I'll never be a commander, right? And a real one. And so that's what we're all looking for too, is to
I
teach
got to tell
history,
you something. It's
give people a feeling.
it's not all it's hyped up to. You know, for every
Exactly.
serious decision you make, it is dealing with other people's problems. And
Hmm.
Mhm.
yeah, I hope nobody that was in any squadron or group I commanded is like, "Yep, he was an asshole back then too." But yeah, kind of like Ryan will get this one. You spent 90% of your time on the 10% that are the most problematic.
Yep.
Hmm.
So
It happens.
I would say but that's me. But look, I'm just once again another podcast. I make myself look like an idiot, but it's okay.
No, no, no.
I'm used to that. But
Yeah.
let's get to Forlorn Hope. Forlorn Hope. I don't know why. It's like some words sometimes I just can't say.
Forlorn.
Yeah, Forlorn Hope. I'll get it
You
by
got
the
it.
end of this podcast. I swear to you. So when we all, I think the last time the three of us were within spitting range was at a last, well over a year ago, November of 24, that I
Mhm.
saw you guys at, what was that, Fall In, a Cold Wars. And Herman was with you. I go, what's that? Because I'm nosy.
Mhm.
And it looked like some cool artwork. And once again, everybody knows, yep, he's one of my favorite designers. Present company, of course, included in that favorite. At least that's what I'll tell you. But I, I, I don't think the Great Wars gamed enough, and I think that is really something that I am glad companies are willing to change. I've worked on
Mhm.
a ton of Great War games, and like I think there should be more because not only did what can I say? It's the Great War changed history
Yeah.
Mhm.
more than any other event I would say that I can think of. And if you look at today, the kind of the world situation, it is still kind of affected by that. That's why like I picked up Brave Little Belgium because
Yep.
Ryan guilted me into it. But
Probably.
it was a good guilt. It was a good guilt. Um, but I think it needs to be gamed. One of my favorite games is Inferno of Steel from Walter from
Right.
Fellowship Simulations. That to
Yep.
me, it's about attritional warfare. The best game on it ever.
Hmm.
And I use it at work to show that your perception of what that was like can still be a challenging experience where you can learn a lot from it. And once again, fan of Herman's Push Your Luck games, that I was very interested in this upcoming game. So instead of me talking now, because all I have is read the rules, which means I don't know very much about the game, that I figured that you guys would tell us a little bit about Forlorn Hope.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start because I think that you pegged something in what you were saying, and that the Great War as being something that is under designed, and obviously it's something that I hold dear to my heart as a developer and designer of Brave Little Belgium. But to go back to the origin story for Forlorn Hope, it was in a conversation we had, a little more than a year ago with Herman, in which he was telling us the history of In Magnificent Style and his conversations with Alan Emmerich at Victory Point Games, and the fact that when he designed the original concept or the original mechanism for In the Magnificent Style, it was going to be trench warfare. And Alan said, no, nobody wants that. We need to pick something that's more popular. And so then that's how it became Pickett's Charge, Civil War. And so it was in that conversation that we then said to Herman, hey, is this something you still have? Is this something you would still be interested in doing? And he said, yeah, I really would. I would like to do that. And so then we signed him to design the game from that point on as our first game to publish. So I think you were dead on. I mean, there was a notion that you don't make Great War games if you want to make any money. You don't make Great War games if you want to sell a lot of copies. And I'm going to push that notion and say, no, that's not true. We definitely could be a profitable game, fun game, and a game that will make an impact on the market. So that's kind of the origin of it. Wes, you want to kick in more there?
Well, yeah, and I think one of the first things people might be interested in, because Herman has used this push your luck system several times now in Magnificent Style, Crowbar with Flying Pig, and of course Worthington has that deluxe version of it in Magnificent Style, and it's gone through several printings. And
Yep.
what the Volters lead the way, I think that was another one. So what makes this
Which
different?
is, yeah, that one's coming, being redone completely and going to be coming out from, I believe, Flying Pig.
So what's going to be different about this is the activation system. It's not throwing some dice and cross-indexing them or something like that. There's a new card draw system that they came up with, that you'll draw 3 cards, one for each of your battalions. You draw 4 rather, and then you can discard 1. But some of these cards might be events, and all events are bad: artillery, machine gun fire, all this sort of thing. So you do have more decision making in this game from the get-go on every time you draw cards. Whereas otherwise, throwing dice, it is pretty much left, up to the wind, and whatever you get, you get. And the other thing is there are 6 scenarios to this game, and there are terrain tiles and things like that. It's not, even though it's still squares and you go down your lane to the enemy, um, there are going to be all kinds of other kinds of terrain on there. And he's got like lost battalions. So you're not going just to the enemy trench, you're going to find the Americans and rescue them, and this sort of thing. It's way different. So there's a whole lot more added value and just added interest to this version of the Push Your Luck system. Can you think of anything else to add that I'm missing about that? We have officers, tactics, chits, things like that he's,
Yeah, I like
broken up.
that. I
Mhm.
thought that was
And
really cool.
cohesion, you're trying to keep your cohesion up. So it's a whole lot of decision making in this game for every event that happens, every round, as you say it. And you still got to decide when to hunker down and when to keep charging forward. Oh, here's another thing. Um, we have little wooden standees. What do you call them, Ryan? They're not standees, but they're wooden pieces representing each companies within the battalion for the entire regiment. And then we have 4 different factions. We have the British, the French, the Germans, and Americans. So that's 36 of these wooden pieces that we will have. In some scenarios, we'll have the Germans charging, and some will have the French, and all this sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's really, really cool. He's come up with some great things. There's one or two campaigns. When I say there's 6 scenarios, one or two of the scenarios are actually campaigns in multiple games that you have to play through to get to the end. So it's I can't, it's going to be hard for anybody to get through the whole thing. Not,
Well,
not
once again,
another.
did I remind you that there's going to be another government shutdown? So
Yeah,
we
that's
got to
true.
produce the game because then I'll have time. Because I tell you what, and I'm going to say this now: the last shutdown was 6 weeks. It was
Mhm.
the greatest 6 weeks of my adult life
Oh, jeez.
Why?
because I mean, I went to the gym a lot. I worked on a ton of side projects. I just essentially like kind of was I a bum as close to as you can get, and yeah, it was just great. Like, when at our age do we get 6 weeks off? Like, well,
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
a teacher here, so I don't want to say
Yeah. Look
anything.
who you're talking to.
Yeah, but like I really kind of enjoyed it, and
Hmm.
do I hope it happens again? Well, I was already told I'm going to be accepted. I have to go in. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Yeah, I can only screw things up by my presence. So, but when I look at this game and I look at the push your luck, you you look at how trench raids, trench warfare was, and we also have to get out of the notion because everybody sees what it's one of my favorite shows. Shit, with Rowan Atkinson, Blackadder.
No, like
And they
that.
go, "Oh, that's what it was like." And it really wasn't. And if you ever get the chance to go to where the Lost Battalion was, and they weren't really lost. They knew where they were, but nobody else did. That
Yeah.
Hmm.
it is a very small area.
Mm.
And it was during a major offensive, and so much was going on. And bam, it's but the weird thing is nobody in the 77th Division was like, where are those guys? And if you ever read anything about Whittlesey and his demise, it is such an interesting. He is an interesting story unto himself, and
Hmm.
I really wish they got somebody other than Ricky Schroeder to play him. But Ricky did a great job in that telemovie. Did you guys watch that?
I have not seen that one.
It's
Have you seen that one, Wes?
yeah,
No.
yeah, it's actually not bad.
Okay.
You just have to remember. Wait, that kid was in that divorce movie. Okay, so yeah, he was a child actor, which means we're just waiting for him to go
Yeah.
crazy in real life. But it's a compelling story, and
Hmm.
especially being from New York, and that was a New York, battalion. That it's a great story. I'm glad that it was included because I think it shows the audience out there that there's a little bit more than you think of,
Hmm.
and there's even more when you want to talk about units cut off. Like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
you have full stories in the Middle East, in Gallipoli, where that push your luck also applied. Let me guess, you guys, if this sells, you're going to do a second one with the Turks.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah, you got to. I
definitely.
mean, and there's more movies about that. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, right,
it was so big in Australia.
right now. I mean, the game is primarily solo, but you can join together with up to 3 people and play it collaboratively. I mean, if it does well, I'd like to be able to take and add an additional map board and do a big, Gallipoli type of thing with up to 6 players if I could.
Yeah.
I'd like to add a bunch of additional scenarios, additional units, additional nationalities. I mean, that's the goal, and always keeping the value proposition high that you're getting all of these scenarios. You're getting
So one thing
all these
I
high quality
noticed,
materials.
because I didn't see the map board, but I would say that for the most part, it's a generic map that all these games are played on. Each each one of these scenarios aren't played on the same map, correct?
It is we have a map that is it's not, I wouldn't say it's generic, but I mean it is generic in that it is reused in the 6 different scenarios.
Yeah.
But it's well done and well designed and well drawn by the artist Tawa Abiwa, who did all the artwork for the game. But
Yeah.
we do have tiles that go onto the board. Not a ton of tiles, not like like with Memoir 44, where you're going to have to place all these different tiles. Just tiles that are going to come into play at various points in the game, or tiles that will be placed at the beginning of the game. Just there's some big town tiles. There's a fort tile. There's a mud tile. There's a forest tile. A couple different other things, and that can be expanded on as we move forward.
When I was reading the rules, I'm thinking of,
Mhm.
okay, 6 scenarios, it's great. But as we saw with Sebastian's game, it,
Mhm.
if you look at the scenarios that are available for it, a lot of them were written by folks that, because you've set the tableau, all the units are there, and
Mhm.
amount of folks that created their own
Oh, that'd be
scenario
easy.
is
Mhm.
amazing, and
Mhm.
it's yeah, and just to kind of see that with how that game is, because you guys have played it, and Sebastian, good friend, but the game was written by morons. I
Okay.
kid, I kid. I tell them all the time. So I always get the, hey, have you played at work? Have you played this game, Littoral Commander? And I go, it sounds like a sex game. He goes, no, I said Littoral. Oh, okay, got it. I said, yeah, I heard it was written by children. And then, it's like, they're all like, at what point do they realize, wait, I think he mentions you here. I go, he damn well
Hmm.
should have. And but that's Sebastian. So there we go. But I
Yep.
make fun of him. Yeah. Because, he texts me out of the blue over the weekend. Hey, what are you
Mhm.
doing? And I'm like, I never answer that question. He goes, could you run a copy of the Baltic game up to CNA? And I'm like, I absolutely fucking will not. So I have to give him a hard time. So, but,
But
looking
you're
at
you're
the, yep.
I was gonna say you're dead on that. I mean, you could take the basic game and you could add additional scenarios. Now, there are certain event cards that we have that are added into the deck for the various scenarios. So, I mean, that would be something that people might have to consider. Creating additional cards and that sort of thing. But yeah, it'd be very easy to create additional scenarios
Which
um, because you
is,
have.
go ahead.
I was going to say because you have French and British and American and German, and as we said, if this does well, we'll continue adding additional units and additional scenarios.
Just like Command and Colors, right? You talked about Memoir
Yeah,
44.
yeah,
And
that's how I envision it. I
yeah,
envision it as we have this big box coming out. It will hold everything for this game, and then we could release smaller boxes with additional maps, additional cards, additional units, or we could release bigger standalone games. We can
yeah.
do both of those things. So,
Well, you know, how many games do I need to personally buy for you guys to keep going? And money's no object. 50,
well, I
60,
mean,
100.
a few more than that.
I'm kidding.
A few more
I'm
than
kidding.
that. We'll get
Well,
the number to you, and we'll get a check, okay? And then we're good to go
all
for the
right.
next game and the next game after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's get
if the government, needs to war game futile trench kind of scenarios, a la the way Ukraine has been for a few years, hey, we got the tool.
There
and
you go.
you guys know this already. So I think it was before a Fort Circle event, and it was Marie Suckling, Tim, I think the guy that did shit, he was with you guys. Does a lot of games with Blue
Convention?
Panther. Yeah. And it
Convention?
was those guys.
Hmm.
Yeah. And they were like, well, you must joke, laugh at our games. I go, hell no, man. when you guys get it right and you abstract it right, I steal it.
There you
And I remember NB goes, "Can you tell me what?" I go, "I have to kill you after," which I wouldn't because he's a great guy. But it's right because trench warfare today in Ukraine is a thing, and you look at what has changed in the last 107 years. Is that look how technology, especially with remote systems, RPVs, drones, whatever you want to call them, is dominating that battle space, or at least the information sphere of that fight. But the end result is they're still in trenches as they were in 1917, because it's that whole thing. When you're under fire, you dig, and when you can't move, you're too weak to attack. You dig. That that is as old as warfare. I mean, trench warfare was definitely not new in the Great War, and it's been around since ancient fights. And it bothers me that the average war gamer is it's all trench warfare, because it's not, and then trench warfare exists. The when there were lulls in battles in World War II, they dug in and they returned to that type of fighting. And I think any game that brings that forward and gives the gamers that experience, that it's more universal than they think, which bothers me about our own community. They tend not to touch games like that, and that kills me. But I'll live. Unfortunately, I'll live. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah,
I'd say there's definitely a goal on our part to produce a game that appeals to, as you said, our community. But we also, and this has been something that Wes and I have done throughout our careers, is that we also have the desire to try to expand that community and get people that wouldn't necessarily pick up this sort of game to pick up this game. So we tried to create something that was relatively easy to understand, relatively quick to play. I mean, I played it with some of my students the other day, and they've never played a board game in their life, and they picked it up very quickly and enjoyed it quite a lot. And so
well,
that's
because they wanted to get a good grade. I mean, come
well,
on.
that's true. That's probably true. No, they already had a good grade.
Yeah, I
Um,
look. I kissed a lot of ass in high school, so
yeah, that's true.
not
That's
because
true.
it's my personality. It's
That is true. But
it is.
I mean, some of the best comments that I've ever received about, let's say, Brave Little Belgium was those messages I would get from a father who would say, "Oh, I just played it with my 10-year-old son, and we had a great time," or the reverse, where he would say, "Oh, I had never been able to get my father into a game, and he's never really been into that sort of thing, and we played it together. He had a really great time, and that's what I like to hear. And so I think we talked about the fact that really, is there a lot of money in this niche market? Maybe not, but if you can broaden out at all and get it out into a bigger market, that's always a good thing to be able to do.
Well, this
So
And
yeah, this
looking
is
at that
a
part,
whole other subject too.
which
Excuse
is
me, just
fine.
about we don't talk enough about how we can grow this pie. And,
sure.
I don't look at all the other companies as competitors as we started this business. I think of them as sort of allies or people on the same mission, at least, and that sort of thing, who are also putting out all kinds of products that I really like and will buy. But at the same time, how do we make it bigger? People worry about people dying off, and people worry, about this or that or getting into other things. But I mean, we have just so much potential that still hasn't been gamed or could be gamed differently, that, the sky's the limit. And how do we just grow the market for this kind of thing? Exactly
Well,
like Ryan's saying,
you bring up
about
a great point, and it is you look at the folks with disposable income, and you're looking at a niche of that, but you only market to half those people. The other
Hmm.
half are, and I'll give Kevin kudos for that. Games
yeah,
that women will enjoy,
Sure.
to be honest. And one of the things, I love Root, but the interesting thing about Root is anybody that I've taught to play and they go bonkers for the game I taught them and their wife how to play the game. And it is usually the spouse, the female, that is way more, we got to play again. We got to play again. There's a poor guy I work with. I had him over for, a 6-player route. And he's a Marine, she's a Navy doctor. And she keeps saying, we got to keep playing. So after they left my house, after playing for 3 hours, they went home, pulled out their own copy, and they started playing, and they play nonstop on the app. If you look at that inclusion, it would be, I just find that fascinating. Like we don't market to,
Not
games
enough.
for women, not enough. And you look at right now in colleges, your historians, a lot of them are women. And should they be bringing war games into the classroom to kind of teach that history? Yeah, they would. But if you go to any type, you guys were at you guys go to cons all the time. It is about as diverse as, West Virginia. What's the name of that inbred family in West Virginia?
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
kidding.
Wes is from Virginia. Wes is from Virginia, not West Virginia. He doesn't know those things.
I'm from Virginia, but I'm from Southwest Virginia, which if you don't say that right, sounds like I'm from Southern West Virginia.
Yeah, there's
There
a
you
group
go.
of people in this town called Odd, West Virginia. Look it up. I forgot their name, but they're all inbred and they make these movies.
Oh, I
But
saw that. Yeah, I saw
yeah,
that. Yes,
yeah,
I
I
know
find
what
that fascinating. Yeah, but
I know what you're talking about now.
once again, it's like, look, if gamers themselves, like 40-year-old men feel intimidated to go to these events because they're not often welcoming to new people, you can imagine it's to grow that diversity. Only if they had a contest to do that. Where's Volko when you need him? I'm sure he'll think of something. But looking at that, but like, how do you get it younger? Because one of the things that I'm seeing are some game companies, and this is big in miniatures, that are pulling people in that are younger. They're skewing younger. They're if you go to an Adepticon, which is not that much historicals, but a ton of sci-fi fantasy gaming. It's amazing. It's I would say it's smaller than Gen Con, but if you're a true gamer, not an RPG guy or a flopper card person, it's the convention for you. And Firelock, they set up, and they do an early colonial America's game, and it's pirates. But right away, if talking to people just transiting by, oh, this looks interesting. Okay. Well, and then you compare it to what they just got finished playing, Warhammer. Trust me, they're looking to jump because that's not a very friendly community. Things like that it's to skew younger. But go ahead, sir.
It's difficult, and it's something that I definitely want to work on. But I can tell you right now, I don't know how successful we've been. To be honest with you, I've been watching the stats. We've been doing a lot of advertisement on the Forlorn Hope for the upcoming campaign with Backer Kit, and I can see by gender, for example, by age, who is responding to our ads, who's following the campaign based on our ads, and it's 98% male, 99% male.
Yeah,
It's
I got to be
90
honest
plus
though.
percent, 30 to 70.
So
Oh.
that one female you have on backer, it is me.
Mm-hmm. No,
Because
it's you.
I'm listed as a 24-year-old former model that has
Okay,
daddy
that was you.
issues. Yeah, that's me. So I'm sorry about that.
Well, you got to make some money. You got to make some money on the side. We can't begrudge that.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, it's, can't hook a, you can't fault a brother for trying, but yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, it to me is, I don't get it why, because 1/3 of my team are women wargamers.
Yeah,
and they're great at it. Yeah,
I know,
and
that's the thing. We go to your conventions when we can, and there are tons of women at those conventions.
Yeah.
That are very knowledgeable, very some of the best in their field,
Yeah.
and it boggles my mind that we don't see it on the other end, you know. And I just
Well,
mentioned my students the other day. I just mentioned my students who I demoed the game to. They obviously all young. They were 15, 16. Two women and one male, and they all loved it. They all love playing it. So it can happen.
Yeah.
Takes
I
skill.
mean, and speaking of connections, it's in California next year. So I can
what?
tell you, yeah, it's in
Where?
Monterey,
Where in
California.
California?
Monterey, and I can tell you
Oh
this:
well.
I won't be there. Personal choice. It is, yeah, it's a personal choice. So
I
that's
don't
it.
know if it's Monterey. I might have to go.
You know what a hotel room in Monterey goes for?
It's
Yeah.
probably a lot.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
But
I love
you know,
Monterey.
it's growing the hobby, and
Hmm.
like that's why I made the mention of Death by Lightning.
Hmm.
Everybody liked it. People saw it as couples, families. It is compelling. It's interesting, and it's like, how do you leverage that into a game, or how do you gamify that? Once again, you guys are brilliant. Not a problem, but then how do you market it for those people? Because
Hmm.
with the Rev War game on the spies, I watched it with my wife, and I said, I'm going to get this game, which I never say, and she goes, "Well, what's it on?" And I go, "Turn, what we watched. There's a whole thing there." She goes, "I'd play that. I swear to you."
Oh, cool.
I took it to the hospital because I was like worried something was wrong with her. So yeah, but it's as how do we do that, and then how do we get younger? And it's that thing where I think that there are definitely characteristics of younger gamers that they like. Like they like cards within their games. They like fancy meeples, the bling of the game. The
Yep.
cardboard count, the paradigm is the cardboard counters and the hexes, where it's, you know, it's just a form of tessellation, and the cardboard counter is just a means of portraying information. But there's a lot you can do there to
Hmm.
make that game have a wider appeal to the younger crowd. And I don't think you have to sacrifice kind of the integrity of the mechanics, making it easier to do that. But then again,
Yeah.
I'm wrong
Yeah.
more than I'm right.
No, I think you're right. I mean, our company definitely focuses on conflict, as Wes, indicated earlier. I mean, what that conflict means can obviously vary. There are definitely contingents of gamers that do not like conflict in their games. They like to play those point salad games where they are doing everything independently. There's hardly any interaction with the other player, and they're just trying to get as many points. Build their little engine, get as many points as possible. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a fine type of game. It's not always the type of game I like. So that's why we tend to focus on more of the conflict things. So that I don't know that you're ever going to attract that type of person that likes that kind of game to this kind of game. Maybe you will, maybe not. But it's definitely worth a try. And there's some things that I would like to do. I mean, I put out
You put
Ginormopod.
out.
I put
I
out.
always heard that
Well,
about
yeah,
you.
put out. I just stopped. I put out. No, I put out the
Yeah.
game Ginormopod with Hollandspiel, and it definitely did not do as well as I hoped. And there were some issues with the manual and a couple other minor things, but definitely a game that I would like to look at again. And actually, I am looking at it with the design with my co-designer Dave Shaw. We're looking at it again about how can we modify it to make it more appealing to a larger audience, and we have some ideas on how to do that, so that maybe we can eventually re-release that. Because we did get back the rights to Brave Little Belgium, White Eagle Defiant, and Ginormopod, Dave Shaw and myself. And so we are looking at putting those out as re-releases at some point with Wharf Rat. So
Yeah.
coming on
You know,
down the
you
pike.
you mentioned, let's pull the string here on the conflict
Hmm.
aspect. But
Yeah,
the
please.
core to gaming is conflict. In any game we play, chess, checkers, Monopoly, high ho chereo, shoots and ladders, that if you're playing the game against somebody else, there's a conflict because you're competing. And these words
That's true.
are synonyms. Is it, the kinetic bloodshed of conference? And I think that question is, to me, sometimes it's a moot question, because life is conflict. Look, we're going to get into Zen shit any minute now. And I understand, like, well, this glorifies war. Games do not do that. If anything, it shows you the horror and tragedy of it. What do they call what we call war movies? They're called anti-war movies. You guys have seen the remake of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anybody
Yep.
ever want to go to war from watching that movie? Right? Because it was so over the top. Thing is, I think the more we can learn about conflict and understand it, we may not be so quick. Interesting aside, I reached out because I do a lot of console gaming, and very addicted to a college football game. And one of the Twitch streamers is a female. She plays, and I invited her to come on. And she's like, I have a feeling she looked at the website. These are war games, and maybe there was a judgment call made. But, sports is conflict. It's a contest.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I
agree with you. I agree with you with that. But I mean, let's take one mechanic.
What was that?
Let's take one mechanic. And take that mechanic, for example.
Yeah.
There are gamers who will not play any game that has a take that mechanic in it.
Yeah.
And they do not want that kind of conflict, as you said. They want to be able to play a game. Yes, they're competing. In some instances not, but yes, they're competing with one another. But they're doing it in a very low key way, in which they're building their engine, they're gaining their points, and that sort of thing. And that's what they like, and that's perfectly fine. I love take that mechanic, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get everybody, but we'll get those people that we can get that are going to like these kind of games.
Yeah. I mean, I started playing over the holidays. Heat, the Formula One game.
Yeah, sure.
It's a great game. And somebody goes, it's because I always ask the question, what's a game on your shelf? People will be surprised. And my games are like, I really like it. Why? I go, because it's an inner conflict and a conflict against the other racers. Right?
Yep.
And it's competing. Yeah. It is looking at your decision space, where you're constantly getting, did I make the right decision or not? And bad things happen sometimes. I think that's the beauty of games. Should be to have fun. But now going back to yours, what I liked about the rule, speaking of competing, is I'm a big fan of the OODA loop. It's because I had Ian Brown on one time. He wrote a book about it, and he's a war game designer. But I noticed games that have those little, and I noticed this with the Civil War game, Push Your Luck, is these micro OODA loops that keep happening in the game that you will start second guessing your decisions. It seems to me that kind of play experience is in this game. Did I get that correct?
No, I think you're definitely right, and I think Wes probably can speak more about this than I can. But I remember we were playing the other day at ACDC, and I was playing what I thought would be best and strategy wise, but also playing what I wanted to show the people that were there. And the other person that was on there kept saying, "No, you don't want to do that. You want to do this," and they were all second guessing me. So, yes, that can happen, right, Wes?
Yeah. In fact, I was saying every once in a while, you're letting too much cohesion loss happen here. But and you all can find out what happens when that happens in the game. But you were demoing the game, so you needed to do that. I know.
And I could tell you one game that I am constantly second guessing my decision is the John Wilkes Booth game, because
really? Okay.
Well, and it's because making a series of bad decisions, which is possible, especially me, that I wonder if I'm ever going to recover in time to get Booth. And it's kind of what I like about the game is, I actually have to sit and think, which is rare. every time I play, and I'm like, well, that didn't work last time. What I like about the game is it could work this time. Just because of the way the mechanics, just because of the way that game's put together. So,
Mhm.
I'm a big fan. I'm just, and, just don't tell Wes. It'll go right to his head. But,
Do you ever
it's,
get to the point where
It's our game
you're
together.
playing these? Yeah. Do you ever get to the point where you're playing the game and you've made a bunch of bad decisions and you're looking at it going, "Yeah, I'm going to start over."
I voted it the game most likely to lead to a table flip.
Okay. There you
Really?
go.
It is.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, because, and it's not a bad comment, right? Like, if I'm playing the game, I don't care if I win, but I want to at least have a fighting chance. And there's so many times in that game I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. And then it's I have to fight myself to double down, reinforcing bad behavior,
Mhm. Mhm.
which, as you guys have met me, you realize I'm very bad at that. So, yeah, that's what I kind of really like about it. And
Good.
a game that will cause you to table flip, to me, we need more of them.
Mm.
Once again,
Yeah.
my opinion, because that means it's challenging. And a lot of times there's challenging games out there that are just too hard for the sake of being hard. This
Mm.
game really
Yeah.
isn't, in my opinion. It's like, you have a lot of, nobody's, situational awareness is great at all times, especially when you're playing with other people. And that's why. But I say table flip, it's a comment. I have never flipped a table.
Mhm.
Sounds dangerous. Sounds really kind of, I may pull a muscle, and I only got one left. So, yeah, but I think I really wish there were more games like that.
You
You
know
know,
what I'm most proud of about that, what Ryan and I did designing that game is, Ryan, you're better at names than me. The historian contacted us and said, "Hey, I heard about this game. I'm not a gamer, but I bought it because I'm an expert in the whole assassination of Lincoln and everything around it." And he actually had us on his YouTube show to interview
Mhm.
us because
yeah.
Mhm.
he liked the way the details, given the idea that Booth can escape in any of these possible directions that they thought he might go historically, but didn't. The history within it and the way the cards interact and stuff. He really liked, and I love it when game people and game reviewers like the game, and it's just like really cool. But when an historian does, it's sort of like a different kind of level.
Yep.
Well, the game is meticulously researched, and which I appreciated because when you took me through it the first time, I read the books. I've always found that Manhunt was a great book.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is before the TV series came out, which
Yeah.
we don't review that here, but they did play a little bit with history. But it's, did I learn something from that game? And the answer is yes. There was a few things. Look, a game on Boston Corbett would be amazing unto itself, because how they made him seem in the miniseries doesn't even touch the kind of bizarre that cat was. And I
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
tell you this from watching that: there's two guys I would like to hang out with. One is
You
Stanton.
might have to.
One is
Okay.
Stanton, right? Because
Yeah.
he
Oh
was
yeah.
like, yeah. And the other one would be, maybe for like a road trip, would be Boston Corbett.
Okay.
Oh my, yeah.
Because every once in a while you want to play around with that crazy,
Mhm.
and
Uh-huh.
it may even make you feel better about yourself.
Mm.
So yeah. But I
Well,
think it's
we enjoyed putting it together. We enjoyed doing the research, and that Manhunt book definitely was a lot of inspiration for that, as well as others, and definitely good to check out.
the other one.
Um,
It happened
and
in our neighborhood.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's I think part of
Exactly.
what that I mean, when Wes and I talked about it originally, and I said, "Hey, Wes, I got this idea for a game. What do you think about doing this?" And I purposely went to Wes for it because I thought he would add the right touch to it. There was those aspects to it. I like the story. I like the fact that it happened in our neighborhood. I have a little bit of a family connection to not to Booth, but to Booth's body. In that my relatives were the ones that had to go get the body and bury it at the Greenmount Cemetery. So I had a little bit of a family connection there,
Nice.
and so there was a lot going for it that we really wanted to be involved with doing that game, and we were very happy with how it turned out in the end. And is it tough? Yes, but to be honest with you, I think they got a little lucky finding him in the first place.
Oh, very
They
much so.
totally got
know,
lucky. Yeah,
and
because he wasn't
he could
using
have.
his credit cards. He wasn't using his cell
No,
phone. They actually
no.
had to go and find his ass.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
imagine that. Imagine trying to go and look in all those places and trying to find him, and he very easily could have gotten away.
I
So,
remember we were leaving a Caps game. My son must have been 7, and
mhm,
there's Ford Theater on the left. I said, Lincoln was shot there, and he
mhm.
died. And I pointed to the right because the house is still there, but there's a waffle
Yeah, it
shop
is.
there. And he goes, Abraham Lincoln likes waffles.
I
And I go,
I don't remember the waffle shop. I remember there being a when I went by that house the other day. There was a park officer
well,
there, but I don't remember a Waffle House.
he was 7 at the time. He's 19 now. It was a while ago, but I still remember like one of my favorite dim sum places is the old Surratt House.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, it has it right on the wall, and if there's anything I would say that the Surratt story, you kind of said is like dim sum. Dim sum's good,
There you go. Well,
and they're not
well,
they're not paying us for the advertisement.
Wes and I went to the location where the Ouija board was designed, which is currently a 7-Eleven. So that was a fun little trip.
Baltimore.
Where was it? Was in Baltimore.
It's
Yep.
Baltimore, right in Mount
Yeah,
Vernon, in Baltimore.
Yeah, Mount
yeah,
Vernon area.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
now it's 7-Eleven.
which is okay. Dim sum, 7-Eleven, waffle shop. I mean, what says America other than our diversity of food?
Yeah. So
Yeah, people are going to
that's
be
funny.
like, you can't have these guys on anymore because you don't stay on the subject. But some people love it. When Ryan, I had you and Herman on, and we geeked out in the
Uh-huh.
last half hour. People were like, we want more of that. And I go, it's podcasting
Mm.
magic. It happens by accident. So let's look at the production of Forlorn Hope. When's the Baccarat? When can you take my money?
Yep, February 10th. February 10th, backer kit. You
March
can put in
12th.
for to you can put in for the you can put in your pledge for the game. And we've been telling people get on backer kit now. Follow the campaign. Why?
I follow.
Because if you follow the campaign, you will get that email on February 10th saying, "Hey, it's now open for pledging, and for the first 24 hours, we're going to be offering the lowest price available. So you'll save $20 off the MSRP by backing it for the first 24 hours.
Well,
So
I'm in.
that's the advantage of getting on there and following it now, and it does help us as well because when we see followers and that list grows and grows and grows, then we have a better understanding of how the game will do once we actually get it going and get it rolling on BackerKit. It's going to go for about a month into March. And then after that, that will then be getting into the period of time we'll be getting all the artwork, sending it off to the manufacturer, having them take a look at it, producing prototype, bringing the prototype back. I've already told Wes that we are going to be driving at least halfway to Knoxville, where Herman is, and have him meet us about halfway so we can take a look at the prototype, go through all the scenarios, make sure everything's working good.
Plays.
And then once plays well, everything's right. And then once all that's done, obviously we'll be putting in for the order of however many copies we decide to buy and getting it produced and then getting it shipped over here. And then we're hoping late summer, early fall to be able to start getting it into people's hands.
Yeah, because that's the next question of, it's like, I want to play it now, and
Yep.
I'm going to have to wait. So I get that. So,
Well, we're going to have opportunities for people to play it. So there's a couple different opportunities. One is a
I
press
have not played it yet.
Okay, we'll come to PressCon. Um,
That's like coming up, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
it's coming up. It's I forget the dates. I know we're going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It is the 26th of February. We will be there, and we'll be there 26th, 27th, 28th, and then March 1st. And we will have a vendor table, and at that vendor table will be three things going on. One, we will be demoing this game. And come on down, and Herman will be there as well. So you can meet Herman and say hello to Herman if you haven't met him. But we'll be demoing a Forlorn Hope, so you can see what it's like and decide whether you want to pledge for it or not. In addition, we've contracted with Blue Panther to offer the games that they print, not only things like Booth and Tattered Flags, but also from other companies like White Dog and Hollandspiel and other places like that. So we will be offering new games from all the different people that Blue Panther works with, and then we'll have another whole section of used games.
Is
And
Steve
if
going to be with
anybody,
you?
no, Steve's not going to be there. We're actually we're selling them on consignment.
I tell you what,
us-
I see that guy, I will always sit down and talk to him for a while. He
uh,
said he is not shy to tell you how he feels.
no, not at all. And
And
we
I'm
work
like,
really well with Steve. In fact,
great.
I'm working with Steve. I'm working with Steve right now on and Herman on Dawn of the Zeds Designer Edition. So
Yeah, I was going to ask because
that's
you talked about that.
that's
Herman.
coming out. It's looking like it just got pushed back a little bit, just simply because what we decided to do and what Steve decided to do was to do a little bit different than what we've seen with Blue Panther before, and that we're going to have fully wrapped boxes and mounted maps and all that kind of good stuff. So it's going to take a little bit more effort there, and we're going to have to get some stuff printed elsewhere. And so he's working on all that. We're working on proving the art, making sure everything's good, making sure everything works. And he said summer was when it was going to be released. Summer.
Nice.
So that's we won't have it by PrezCon, unfortunately, but we'll have it by then. Other plays that you can play a Forlorn Hope, though, is if anybody wants to, we do have it available on Tabletop Simulator, and I can get that information to people if they wanted to email me. Best way to
Well,
contact me is
you're going to have to give me the
info.
link to the backer
Yep,
it
yep,
and to
yep. I'll give you all that. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Well, not for me,
Info.
but for
Yeah,
those. Look, you do realize anybody that's still
I'll give it
listening
to
to
you.
this podcast is going to buy it
Mhm.
because they're going to be like, you guys talked for like an hour and a half, and this game is so esoteric. I just have to get it.
Gotcha.
It's like how not to talk about the game, but once I think we all love Great War. At least I know you and I do, Ryan. And
Mhm.
if I see a Great War game, I always hit buy on it. I noticed
Mhm.
that I really thought with the 100th that it was going to be like every other day, and it really wasn't. And I think it's because
Mhm.
I think when it dawned on a lot of game designers that came and went. We had COVID, and I'm seeing a lot more now popping out. They
Right.
re-popped that Gallipoli game that was done by those two guys in Australia. I believe Nuts
Mhm.
Publishing re-popped that. That they're. I wouldn't say it's a renaissance, but I think it's inherently more gameable. I know that the Combat Commander version. Yeah, I
Mhm.
know. I know what people think of Combat Commander. It's a great game. You don't like the cards. I don't know what to tell you, but their Great War version of that game plays
Mhm.
so differently. I don't know if you guys played it. It has the feel and crunch it should. So
Mhm.
there's just
Gotcha.
so many great games. And what I'm hoping with Forlorn Hope, because I love reading the rules, is that this will kind of burst a couple of paradigms out there for folks that would never game Great War. The other one is, look, you know that your first in-house design, having Heilman do it.
Mhm.
I mean, that guy can get sick, throw up on a map, and it will win a Charles S. Roberts Award.
Well, that would be nice.
And there was somebody
That would be very nice.
I could create a great mosaic like that. But, I get people hit me up all the time, and this was a guy on Facebook, and he's always asking me what I'm playing, and I always answer with myself mostly. But he mentioned Heilman, and he said, he is the throwback to the guys at SPI, this. And I said, well, when you look at it, he has done so many different types of games in different historical period. And, it's, right now his Gettysburg game, I think I told him, I got rid of all my others because that's the one I'm going to play till I die.
Yeah.
Which, God, let's hope that's not too long from now. The suffering has to end. But, and then knowing how you guys from your own designs, and, it's interesting. I did my research on your boys, right? Like, because I play your games, and, the way Wes looks at mechanics. The other thing, Ryan, with his, development work, that I know this game's going to be a hit, and I will not have to buy 700 copies to ensure that there's a second. And if I'm
Well, that would
wrong,
be nice.
I'll buy 700 copies and give them away, because I think that's it's kind of because it's just not done enough. And once again, it should be done more, because I think it affected history. That's why I just don't get when people push back on the Sarajevo thing. Like that one gunshot by accident, one shot changed and created the world we live in today.
I
and
agree.
just how it is. And one of my favorite T-shirts is a picture of Gavrilo Princip, and it says on it, "Hey, hold my sandwich."
Hold my sandwich.
And
Well,
if you don't get it,
That's funny.
Ryan often says if you had to pick one event in the 20th century, that was it, that had the most effect, far-reaching and long-lasting effect, was that assassination.
and it was worldwide. I mean, it
Mhm.
what would
Yeah, I
America
try
be like without it?
Yeah, when I teach history, I haven't taught history in a while. I try to come up with some sort of event that people can really stick their teeth in, and for the 20th century, that's one of them. And I don't talk about the world wars as being separate wars. I talk about them as being just continuations of one war continuing on
Well,
throughout
the
that
Cold War.
period of time. And yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's a continuation. And then, like, for example, when I teach early American history and the Revolution, I mean, I always start with the French and Indian, and I always start with Fort Necessity and the events prior to that with Washington. And I talk about how important that one little event was. And without that one little event, there wouldn't be the other events. And so that's, whether there would or not, I don't know. Maybe there would be, but still, I try to kind of get the kids to bite into something, and they go, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay," because they can swallow that more than talking about all the big swath of events for the actual war and the lead up to the revolution, et cetera, et cetera. They can understand one little event about one personality. So like when I teach about that event, I don't even tell them it's George Washington. I'm just like, there's this one guy and he did this and this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end I say, and this is who it is. And they're like, oh, really? That's who that was? Oh, okay. And then we tie it all in to the French and Indian War, to the 7 Years' War.
A couple of years ago, I was reading to guys I was working with. These are newspaper clippings, and I want you to guess when it's finished what president this is. And this is a vile scumbag that sits in our White House, in our seat of government. and everybody thought they knew who it was. And then I hit the next one, and they all thought it was the current incumbent. I said, actually, no, it's Thomas Jefferson. Which ones? All of them. And they go, what do you mean? I go, he wasn't really liked. Maybe go read about Thomas Jefferson. And it's because that story of him giving that woman from Georgetown a ride. And he goes, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to the White House to meet that disgusting brute, Thomas Jefferson. And he lets her talk. He drops her off in front of the White House, goes inside. I think the story's bullshit because why would he be coming from Georgetown? It's his house. And he comes out, right? And it's an interesting story, but it's probably BS. You know, the other one is, why did George Washington want to take command of the colonial armies? Out of spite. You know, because the British wouldn't give him a regular commission. And yeah, it's just interesting. But what you're doing, Ryan, is you're making large historical events into very intimate situations that anybody can deal with. When you get the shot at Sarajevo, it is one guy getting shot. And if you take out the context of when it is, and, you know, look, all you have to say right away, you know, it was an open top car. So they're going to think, you know, but it's Kennedy, and it was a lucky shot. Well, that could be Kennedy just as much as it was, you know, Gavrilo Princip, man, coming out of Schiller's Deli. I still want to know what sandwich he had.
Wasn't it the infamous cheese sandwich?
Well,
you don't buy that
look
for
at
either.
what it would be there at that time. Yeah, I think it was a cheese sandwich, but you know, I still remember asking somebody that was lecturing on it, and I said, this was fascinating. I go, do you know what kind of sandwich that was? And he goes, no. I go, and you're the expert? So, yeah.
I don't know that there's any proof he was eating a sandwich, so, you know. I mean, we like to think of it, and it's a great story, but...
It's a great story, you know. And why let the truth get in the way of a good story?
We don't like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they had wider roads, this wouldn't have been a problem. Yeah. It's a lot of things in history, you know, like the same thing too. If the, you know, General Cornwallis had a cell phone, Yorktown would have turned out differently for us. Just how it is. But yeah, because now we're getting into that. I know you guys want to go to bed, but Wharf Rat games, support them, because I think if you guys out there have heard kind of the soul of Wharf Rat, you kind of get what they're doing there, Jay from Moline, Illinois, and you have to respect it and support it. Best way to support it is buying this game. Everybody knows that I am pushing the game, most games, because I always want people to play with. It's very selfish, but this is essentially a solo game, so you can play with yourself. But it is, if you've liked any of the Push Your Luck games, or if just the fact is Push Your Luck, regardless of its scenario or environment, really kind of excites you, pick this game up. I think now we talk about spoilers. I really kind of bit the weenie on the Battle of the Bulge, but I want to play it.
We're going to change your mind on that.
Well, I mean, I'm open enough to have you guys try. If not, I could see that if anybody's met these two, you know that prone to violence right away screams out from these two guys. So yeah, you probably could change my mind.
I will tell you, we had not signed this game initially. I mean, he was working on this game. We had not signed it, but he took this game to Circle DC, and that's what everybody was coming up and asking about. You know, everyone was saying, "Hey, what's this game? What's this ball game?" Hey, what's it?" And there was enough people. I turned to Wes and said, "Yeah, Wes, we're signing this game." you know, because
Did you
there
have to
was that
fight Kevin
interest.
for it?
No.
Well, it's not a Kevin kind of game.
Well, if I'm going to
So
fight Kevin, don't I have to? Didn't he go into the sumo ring? Do I have to go in the sumo ring with him to fight it out? I'm
I
ready.
didn't go
Get my
last year to Circle DC because of death in the family, but I think Kevin
okay.
feels I didn't go for other reasons, and I've yet to tell him that. So he's going to be like,
What year this
"Hey,
year?
well, I'll be gone this year for it." But he goes, "Hey, you didn't
Oh.
go," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, death in the family." Oh, and it'll make him feel bad for about 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll have to produce a death certificate because he thinks I made it up,
Mm-hmm.
which I have.
Well, we will be there, and we will be demoing definitely demoing Forlorn Hope.
Yeah,
So
it's this year. It's the same time as Adepticon, and
I
yeah,
got you.
I help those guys run that bad boy, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But last time I went, I got to see a lot of interesting cosplay people, and those people fascinate the hell out of me. They just do,
Gotcha.
and it's that whole thing like, well, we don't do it for you; we're doing it for us. But I
Yeah.
still
Mm-hmm.
remember the girl that was walking around Gen Con 50, Princess Leia in the sexy outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started talking to her because, I was there to podcast and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
are you into this or that? And she goes, look, I'll let you in on a little inside baseball. I'm here to promote my OnlyFans page because this
Oh,
community.
jeez.
And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. And her boyfriend's, oh, not at all. I'm the male talent. And I'm like,
Oh God.
I got you guys. I got you guys. And they said, just don't tell anybody. And I broke that promise today.
Uh-oh.
But it was like
Is that
100
what we
years.
should be doing? Is that what we should be doing? Going to conventions, and we should get an OnlyFans and start promoting that. Is that the deal?
Look,
That's the real way to make some money.
so we looked into doing a more serious Twitch stream, and we realized that, well, actually, the guys from Lead Pursuit, that they would double the amount of people that watched Lead Pursuit if they showed feet.
I was talking with someone about that. I was
Yeah,
talking to someone about that. I said I
yeah.
could just show off my interesting looking socks. That's what I would do. Just show my socks off.
I'm gonna have to look
Make a
at
ton
your
of money.
stocks today. So I wore
I
holiday.
have a lot of interesting socks.
So I wore socks I got for the holiday, and I
Mm-hmm.
just thought it was space themed, right? I didn't really think about it. I got it as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I put them on,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess the way I was sitting, somebody's like, "Those socks are so you." And I looked at the
There you
socks,
go.
and it was the Earth, but
Mm-hmm.
a big planet killing meteorite that was hitting it, and everybody knows that. You remember when that meteorite was supposed to hit us?
Yep.
I was hoping for that, because wouldn't that be kind of funny? Like it's going to hit us, and we have to send Bruce Willis up. He's not in good condition, so that was it. And they go, those socks are so dark, and I'm like, yes, they are, just like
There
I
you go.
am. But yeah, but
I think I
guys,
was wearing hot dog socks today, I believe.
I
So
I I got Cheez-It socks for the
yep.
holidays, and I got
I got
socks
some taco ones.
with ding dongs on it.
Oh,
The
like
snack cake.
the
The snack
snack
cake.
cake ding dong, or something else that I need to know about,
No,
or not
the
know
snack cake.
about. Okay, just checking.
And I'll tell you this, right? Because I looked it up. It's not like I
Mm-hmm.
go around collecting these things. There is a difference between the ding dong and the Hostess Big Wheel in both type of chocolate and type of cake. And then I'm like, I'm going to push my luck with this, just like a Herman Luttman game. And I go, the yodel, the Swiss roll, and I forgot the other one, right?
Yep.
The
Mm-hmm.
roll things. They're all different because they use different types of chocolate and cakes, and the cream
Yep.
is different. So
Yep.
I'm
They are.
thinking there has to be a patent on some of these snack cakes. Yet, Twinkie, no competition.
Yeah.
because you don't mess with greatness. So yeah. Well, look, if I don't catch you guys at PresCon, I think people out there will and should, because
Definitely come
I've
down.
hung out with these guys, and let me tell you, they're just like us, diehard junkie gamers, but unlike me, way more interesting. Way more interesting, and they don't go into the PG-13 R-rated stuff as much as I do, but check out the links below.
Yep.
Get on their Baccarat, the mail, because they come out with these trivia things, and they're all softball questions. So I'm just saying.
I tried to
just
put some
saying.
hard ones on there.
There are, yeah, but like if it's about the Great War, dude, I've read it. So
That's true.
no, some of them are pretty good, and like the whole thing with like, hey, what do you guys think of? Because that was the first way I knew that you guys were doing the Lost Battalion, was like, you guys were mentioning it, which
Yep.
they weren't lost. They knew where they were. Yeah, but
The
nobody else did.
misplacement battalion, we'll call it.
Yeah,
So.
and but most certainly pick it up. And like I said, if you go see them, plan an hour, because they're interesting cats. And look, if you've listened this far, I know you're getting the game. So definitely want to give you guys a plug. Just go look below for information, get on that mailing list. And if you don't like it, you have the No Dice, No Glory buyback guarantee. I will buy the game from you at
Cool.
Lowest cost possible. I say that a lot, and somebody actually wanted to take me up on it. And they're like, well, you said it in your podcast. And I go, look, I know I'm full of shit. How do you not realize
you now
that?
know that too.
Yeah. And believe it or not, he goes, I don't like it. And I made him an offer for it. And it was like 20% of the price. And he lived nearby. And I went and picked it up. And I donated the game to Goose.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was it too. But gents, thank you.
Sounds good.
And
it was really nice of you to have us, and thank you for all the kind things
what do you
you've
mean?
said
You
about.
threatened me. You threatened me.
Did he threaten you?
How can we
He does
threaten
that to
you?
me too.
Nothing we could do to threaten you.
He goes like this. He goes, I showed up at that loser Connections. I gave you a game to raffle off. Did I tell you the guy, because everybody had tickets to put in, he put all his tickets in for that game because he really wanted to win it. Yeah. And I forgot who won it. But Eleanor won a game, but I don't remember which. Did Eleanor win it? No.
I think was it her friend or somebody that was also working with her.
Oh,
that was that woman.
That woman, Monica Lewinsky. Caroline.
The other. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, they're like a twin-headed blonde thing. They talk rapidly, but it was interesting. I'll give you a little postscript because it's kind of a funny story. So one old guy, when I say old guy, we're young and spry compared to him there, Wes, said that I cheated to ensure my daughters won the games they wanted.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I thought about it for a second. Like, yeah, I guess I am old enough to be their dad.
Yep.
And I said, while there's a lot of interest in that father-daughter relationship I could have with them, my dealings with them is purely professional and at most avuncular. And the guy said, you think you're a smart ass? I go, no, actually, I'm a dumbass. But he accused me of giving the games away. And he goes, because I didn't want this game. I go, but you put your tickets in for it. Yeah, but I didn't want it. And I go, well, if you want, I could go. I still have the tickets. I can give it to somebody that wants it. No, because I never win anything. And then he starts yelling at Matt, the guy that runs it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. And So it's like it was like a whole thing. Yeah, it's really kind of crazy. But yeah, I do you know who that was, by the way?
No.
The guy?
No.
Yeah, former governor of Maryland. No, just kidding. Bob Hope, But yeah. But yeah, once again, guys, thanks. Don't be a
Thank you.
stranger.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
I'll turn it back to Shawnee in the studio.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory, and keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.